Nice.
This week on The Outfitters.
Oh boy.
If it's got teeth and will eat a fly, you can bet that angler Conway Bowman is in pursuit. Far from his home waters in San Diego, where mako sharks are the game, northern Saskatchewan and the monster pike of Wollaston Lake beckon.
Apex predator. This is the apex predator in Williston Lake.
Behind the unforgettable adventure. Behind that trophy of a lifetime.
Oh my God!
There's an outfitter who makes it all happen. Join our dream team of veteran hunters and anglers crisscrossing North America to find the hardest working men and women in the outdoors. This is The Outfitters.
To get to Lake Williston, it is a tremendous trek. It really is. You know, the staff at Williston Lake Lodge, they have to drive up, and it's a minimum of 15 hours probably to get here from Winnipeg. But flying in from Southern California, it was a very easy trip. You know, I flew into Winnipeg, it's points north. I'm finally here in northern Saskatchewan at the Williston Lake Lodge, where Mike Limpke and his crew have been working really hard to get the lodge ready for the opener. So I'm here right after ice out, and I've done a lot of pike fishing before, but never at this time of year. I'm really excited to do some sight casting to some really, really big pike. So we've got the F-250 Super Duty up here to help Mike out and the crew at the lodge. It's amazing that it doesn't seem like there's any paved roads here at all. It's just these sort of graded roads. And I bet just a couple of weeks ago, these things were rugged, really rugged. It looks like the grader's gone through. That's all I've heard about Wollaston Lake Lodge. It is an insane fishery, and there are some really, really big pike here. And they love to hit the flies. The previous times that I've done this, it is some of the most exciting fishing I've ever done. And to see them take a fly that's anywhere 8 to 10 inches long, I mean, I'm all in. I am all in.
We have a very short window of operation here. Our season starts June 10th and ends in August, so we only have 3 months access to this water. Hey, Conway.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
You too. Welcome to camp.
God, this is unbelievable.
In 14 years, we've seen the ice go off on different days. Sometimes it's gone at the beginning of May, and we're wide open, and we're here June 10th, and there's still ice in the main lake, but we can go around it, and all of our fly-out lakes are open.
Flying the float plane over the lake to some of the outlying locations was pretty neat. Flying over the frozen lakes and just seeing, I mean, how massive Lake Williston is. It was really, really cool. Landing that plane, getting on those aluminum boats many miles away from the lodge, and going in all these little coves and casting to these, you know, these laid up northern pike with a fly rod. I mean, it was unbelievable.
That really should be a fish right there.
My guide, Phil.
I'm gonna let us drift in here a little bit. We'll work the shallows and then maybe slide back a little bit. I'm thinking those bigger fish are
Phil is
sitting a little further out.
I mean, probably one of the most understated guides I've ever fished with, to be honest with you. There he is, got him. I think it's a nice one too.
I grew up a river fisherman, a rough fish fisherman, fishing bobbers, baits, bullheads, drum, suckers, carp, catfish. So, you know, here we are some 30-odd years later fishing pike and Clearwater lakes. And
yeah, baby. Look at this dog.
Just enjoying every minute of it.
Look at that guy. Okay. I don't think he's ready. Maybe he is.
All right, is she ready?
I don't know, man. What do you think? Yeah. Beautiful. Now that is a northern pike. That is a sweet looking fish. Fat, great coloration. That take was incredible. I threw it in there and I was doing the two-hand strip and it just basically stopped. And then, so I switched it up to a little purple tarpon fly. It's a toad. The action on this fly is really good and it seems to work. Williston Lake is unique in that you have gin clear water. You have a huge volume of very, very large northern pike. that sit in very shallow water. And for a fly fisherman, that is a perfect scenario. And the fly angler can basically sight cast to these very large fish. I think that's what makes
Oh, there he is, got him.
Wollaston Lake a very unique fly fishing destination. And fish that are pretty much unmolested, haven't been worked over by a lot of anglers. That's the draw.
Oh yeah, by golly. Oh yeah, look at that guy. Holy moly. Woo! Bendo!
And we're not talking state-sized pike. We're talking fish that are over 40 inches.
Yes, what a take, man.
And that is a tremendous, tremendous fly rod fish.
Yes, that is a much better fish. Yeah.
Wollaston Lake offers a wide variety of species. We focus mostly on pike, lake trout, walleye, Arctic grayling.
Yeah, on the floating toad. That's like one of my favorite tarpon flies.
That fly works for everything.
We fish them on the main lake, we fish them on flyouts, rivers, lakes. It's just an unbelievable fishery.
There he goes.
Coming up, it takes a dedicated army to maintain a first-class northern wilderness lodge. Conway Bowman's hunt for monster ice-out pike continues. The Outfitters is brought to you by the 2013 Ford Super Duty, built Ford tough.
So Williston Lake Lodge is open for about 90 days, opening on June 10th, staying open through August. And that's the window. It's 3 months of intense fishing, and then that's it. And, you know, it's really funny, you know, talking to the staff here. You know, in that 3 months, they've got to pack in a lot of stuff. They've got to set the lodge up. They've got to cater to the clients once they get in. And there's no breaks. The first group comes in, they're gone. The second group comes in the next day. And it's like that every single week, all the way through August. So to look at that and realize what the staff does here, it's tremendous. So you got great fishing, but also you've got a staff that is top-notch and takes care of every single detail.
I'd say the biggest challenge we have is where we're located. We are 6 hours away from the nearest civilization. The nearest hospital is that far away. We are 911. We find quality people to help run this place, but getting things here and having the right tools for the job, trying to adapt when you don't, is really the biggest challenge. The staff comes up on a school bus, and it's a long, arduous 10-hour ride from Saskatoon, where our main office is located.
Most of that road is gravel and rough gravel. It is not a lot of fun. If it wasn't for coming up here guiding, I wouldn't ever drive on that road, and certainly wouldn't try and trailer anything on that road.
The first order of operation is to get our facility. Water is a big issue. We get water to every building. We have to get the septic system running. We have to make sure the electrical system is going. We have to move our equipment from storage down into the lake as soon as we can get into it. We have to get our supplies shipped, sorted and stored. We have to maintain the physical facility also, so it's challenging. There's always a new issue when we arrive, something that we didn't expect, and we just have to be able to adapt to it.
Pike fishing is so exciting because it is all visual. Pike is the apex predator in Williston and pretty much any place it lives, and it has no fear. So basically, when you're on Wollaston,
Putting the wood to him. Another great take. I'll let you deal with this one, Phil.
Okay.
you're sight casting or you're casting around structure looking for these fish.
Creek inlets are always good.
Pike charge the lure or the fly.
killer.
They hit it with the tremendous amount of force.
Oh God, you see that, right?
With no fear.
Man, that is a killer.
And it's all about that strike, in my opinion.
Nice.
Once you hook them, it's a very strong fight, but rarely do they get you deep into your backing. But it's sort of a bulldog fight. They'll take you out, you'll bring them back. They'll take you out, you'll get them to the boat. They'll take you out again. They don't give up.
Woo! Surface action on pike is gobbling up the surface flies today. Dalberg divers, frog pattern, red and white, unbelievable action. I mean, just the best action I've ever seen on the surface for pike, or actually any freshwater species. What do you say, Phil?
That was a nicer fish.
Oh! Oh, he's off. Oh, I lost my fly. Too.
Oh no. Oh.
When that fish decides just to take off, unreal. Just one swipe of that tail and he's 10, 20 feet away. Here we go. Good. That's some good pike fishing right there. Williston Lake Lodge, northern pike on the fly. Hey, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. This is unbelievable fishing. And it is surface fishing with a fly, watching the take, run away. Yep, there she goes.
You know, as an outfitter, you need the most reliable equipment available. Whether it's a boat, outboard motor, or the fleet of Ford trucks, reliability is the key. And I think at Williston Lake Lodge, the Ford Super Duty performed unbelievably.
We are a Ford family. All of my boys drive Ford trucks. My wife drives a Ford truck. I own 4 Super Duties. When you're in a remote location, you have to have something that's dependable. You have to know that whatever the job is, we can get it done with it.
The rear view camera on the Super Duty is great, and it saves a lot of time, especially when you're working in an operation like Williston Lake Lodge. Time is critical, so it was a great feature. The Ford Super Duty is best in class in towing and also best in class in payload, and when properly equipped, can tow up to 18,500 pounds and carry a payload of 7,000 pounds. For being such a powerful and reliable vehicle, the Super Duty is also a luxury vehicle, and when you're in a remote location like this, it's an added bonus.
As a small businessman, you have to have the right tool, otherwise you lose money, and that's why we buy Fords, and we will continue to do so.
So targeting northern pike on Lake Williston, I knew the fish were big. Were going to be big, or I had potential to catch a very large northern pike. So I came equipped with a 10-weight rod, with a floating line, about a 7-foot leader, fluorocarbon, and then on the end of that leader I had about a 3.5-foot piece of stainless steel wire attached to a very large fly called a Dalberg diver. And that's about it. You need the big rod because these fish are very big, and once you hook them, you really have to put the heat on them to kind of, you know, to keep them from running into a rock or into a log or something like that. Plus, the big rod really helps when you're casting these very large flies like a Dalberg diver or sort of a floating toad pattern.
That was a great take.
The best colors that I found were red and white and purple and black. They were great, great colors that really seemed to work in any sort of situation on Williston.
And there she goes. I made a very short cast with one strip, and that guy came out, whoa, grabbed the fly. Great take, unbelievable take.
Whether it was clear water, shallow, deep, around weed beds, it was great. So, you know, when you come to Williston, basically a 9 or 10 weight rod with a floating line, a stainless steel leader, and some big flies, and you're good to go. One thing I notice about the northern pike is at certain times of the day, they liked a certain cadence with the retrieve. So I started out my days with basically a single retrieve, like a very standard streamer retrieve with a fly rod. So it moves the fly through the water and the fly pauses, and that worked very well. But There was a time when that didn't work. So what I did after that is I went to a two-hand retrieve. See that? And the two-hand retrieve was very effective in catching pike sort of midday or later in the day. And what it does is it makes the fly go through the water without any pause. So it looks very natural, like a bait fish moving through the water.
It's a nice little trough just off that shore there. Should be a few pike sitting right in there.
The other great thing is I can control the speed of the fly. So I make the cast, I strip the fly, and I see a pike behind it because I'm sight casting. If the pike is not reacting, it's just tracking behind it, I can speed the strip up and then the pike will take it. Or I'm stripping the fly and I want to slow it down, I can slow it down.
Oh yeah, God, you see that take?
So I found the two-handed strip was very effective here. It's a very effective technique in saltwater. It's really the first time that I've done it in the freshwater, and I found targeting northern pike with the two-handed technique was really great because it gives me sort of a full range of stripping speeds for the streamers I was using.
Got him.
Next, Conway's saltwater stripping technique proves deadly on this inland Canadian sea where freshwater monsters lurk. Log on to thefordoutfitters.com to register for your chance to win an ultimate adventure with your favorite host of the Ford Outfitters and drive home in a Ford F-150 with EcoBoost.
Wollaston Lake has some of the world's best pike habitat in it. Because it has been catch and release over 20 years, we've noticed that the quality of our fishing, and we keep detailed records of that, just goes up a little bit every year. So it certainly works, and if we take care of it, it'll be here for the rest of our lives.
Okay, there's a big fish moving right through there. If there was just one way that I was going to fish for pike, I would definitely be throwing a fly rod. Top water particularly. It's just a whole lot of fun.
Got him. Come on, baby.
Mike Lemke is, for me, the ultimate lodge owner. He's a big man, and I get the impression Mike pretty much has a tight rein on everything around here. I know if anything goes down, Mike's gonna handle it.
That's right where you want it. Perfect.
Perfect. It was great because I could see that fly and I saw the whole thing happen. But this is, I mean, this, look at this. You have these great sort of little grass beds all the way through here. I mean, this looks like a prime spot for some really, really big pike.
I came in '99, and I think the real reason I decided to do this for a living is the people. It's the people. I get to meet people from all over the world, and when people come here, they just get to be themselves.
There he is. Got him. Come here, you mother.
I think seeing how important it is to some of our guests and how it really has affected their lives.
Look at that. Woo. That's beautiful.
It's very rewarding for us.
Okay, there's your fly. We'll let her go back. There she goes.
I'll tell you, they tear that fly up, don't they?
It is a little messed up.
I get to work in an environment that very few get to, and even though it might rain or be windy on a day, the worst day here is better than any day in an office that I've ever had in my life.
So in terms of angling skill, when you come to Williston Lake Lodge and obviously fishing Williston Lake,
I'm seeing another mid-size one.
Right out here?
Right straight out from me. There it comes. Oh, that was a good pike.
you could be pretty much a novice angler because there's such a great volume of northern pike here. They're very aggressive, and if you can accurately make a cast at 30 feet, you can be successful.
Oh, here it comes.
Got him. Got him.
So you don't have to be an expert angler and make, if you're fly fishing, that 60 to 100 foot cast or whatever that is. It's a great place to basically hone your fly fishing skills.
This guy's totally got me handcuffed, man. Whew. Oh boy, that is a massive, massive pike.
If you're going to start venturing into the salt water,
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, dog.
Wollaston Lake would be a great place to come in and get that sort of training because you're going to have a lot of shots of fish, you're going to catch a lot of fish, and you're going to work the different sort of techniques that you will use in saltwater fishing.
Oh my gosh. Whew. Holy smokes. Phil, what about that? Good gosh.
That is a big, wide pike.
Man, I'll tell you, he was just laying on the bottom. You spotted him, and I looked, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And then I saw him move, and you know, the second cast, I thought I was completely out of the wheelhouse, and I just stripped it, and man, he came up and just inhaled that fly.
One thing that stands out in my mind is the very large northern pike I caught.
So Phil, what do you need me to do here, man?
You can, same as the little ones, you can slide them on in, and I'm just gonna hand land them.
Phil spotted this fish in very shallow water. We had great sunlight. I looked at it. At first, I didn't believe it was a fish. I thought it was a rock.
Man, that is a big fish. I can't get my hand around that thing, I'm telling you right now.
We got it to the boat.
He might go. Yep, he might go yet.
Once, it took off.
This is ridiculous. Looks like an alligator, he's so big, right?
He does.
We got it to the boat twice. It took off again.
Okay, Williston Lake Lodge. I'm coming back. Maybe I won't have to. This might be the biggest pike I've ever, well, I know it's the biggest pike I've ever caught. Look at that thing.
Okay, here she comes. Here she comes.
And then we got it to the boat a third time, and then finally we got it to hand.
How's that pike? I can hardly hold that sucker.
How's that pike, huh, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think, Phil? May I?
I realized at that moment that I caught the biggest pike I possibly will ever catch in my life. It was sort of the Mount Everest of my pike fishing on a fly rod. It was a tremendous experience.
Right to the longest end of the tail we go.
46.5.
All right, that's a monster.
46.5 inches. Wow. I'll tell you, what a fish, what a take. That's why you come to Lake Wollaston to catch giant pike on a fly, period. That is it. You're looking at it, you're witnessing it. I just caught it, and I am stoked, totally stoked.